Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well as we dive into video number 2. If you didn't catch video number 1, and actually I would urge you guys to actually this time go and watch video number 1 if you haven't, because what's said there is leading up to what I'm going to talk about here, and you do need to hear that to get better context of what I'm about to talk about. Just so that you know exactly what was going on based on the Brentford-Chelsea game that finished 2-2 yesterday and Brentford's late equaliser to make it 2-2, it's a controversial goal, but weirdly enough, when it's Chelsea, there's no controversy, is there? And that's what I'm going to start on. Because when something happened to Joshua King, right? And like I said, even me, I was going, you know what? Yeah, that goal should have stood. But let's not pretend like Chelsea get decisions every week. Without question, Chelsea get decisions against them probably tenfold compared to decisions for them. The whole point when that Joshua King goal was disallowed and the media went into a frenzy. Let me ask the question again like I did after that game. If this was Liverpool, would the media have gone crazy in that way? If this was even Man United, although many people just feel sorry for them right now, and don't worry, we're going to talk about Man United later. What would be the score there? If it was even Arsenal to an extent, what would be the score there? No. When it's Chelsea, oh no, everyone blows up. Everyone blows up. It's a disgrace. They're flipping. There should be a ban, a transfer ban, and a £50 million fine, and all sorts. Right. Well, yesterday, Chelsea get a decision against them. Right, and Brentford score a goal, which now we look back, we go, hey, it should have been offside. Now, this is why I say go and watch video number 1, because if you wanted to go and find out why that was offside, I explained it there. But that was offside. Where's the media? Silence. Anyone talking about it? No. No. And why? Because respectfully, I say this respectfully, the little team managed to get something against the bigger team. I say that respectfully. I don't mean that in a condescending way. I'm just saying if it was the other way around, well, the media would be going kicking off again. If Chelsea scored an equaliser against Brentford in that manner, I guarantee everyone would be on VAR's case. But I'm going to do it for us right now because someone's got to do it consistently. Let's not be hypocrites here. When we ask VAR and the referees to be consistent and we know that they're not consistent, and we're going to prove to everyone again with another example why they are not consistent, I think the scrutiny on VAR and on the referee should also be consistent because their decisions are not consistent. So why shouldn't we be consistent? No, don't pick and choose. Don't just go, oh no, this one's great, so let's kick off. But this one, nah, we don't need to know about that one. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Was the goal yesterday offside? Yes. As I've said, video number 1 will explain it in living colour because I show you the goal. It was offside. So, what did VAR actually do? We have an update. This is why I'm kicking off. Here it is. Officials deemed no clear impact from Ouattara on Brentford's 95th minute equaliser. VAR James Bell studied it but decided referee's call should stand as was subjective and didn't consider it a clear and obvious error, with PGMOL chief Howard Webb insisting on a high threshold for intervention. What? Firstly, that high threshold, okay. Let's explain it a bit more. So, on-field decision was that no offside occurred. Officials deeming no clear impact from Dango Ouattara before Fabio Carvalho scored. VAR James Bell studied it but decided referee's call should stand as was subjective and didn't consider it a clear and obvious error, with PGMOL chief Howard Webb insisting on a high threshold for intervention. We'll need to wait to see if incident is included in Webb's next match officials mic'd up episode to get his view on whether right or wrong. Chelsea set-piece coach coach Bernardo Cueva was among those adamant that Ouattara interfered. Are we being stupid here, or are we being blind, or are we being just dumb? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, you hear that? Okay, there was no clear impact. What? There was no intervention. Ouattara didn't do enough, apparently, and for that reason he wasn't offside. Hang on. So let me show you this. Let me show you this again. Yeah, let me show you this again. Not for the first time. Again. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let me show you what I showed you in video number 1, because we have to. These guys are flipping. Look, are we blind or are we stupid? Was the question, yeah? Well, let me ask the question to Howard Webb, to James Bell, what's his name? James Bell, the VAR lad, Mr. Bell, yeah, and everyone. Is this not offside? Is this not offside? Throw taken, header. On the moment that the header was made, look at the top left-hand frame. You can see Ouattara is offside. He then, following the subsequent frames that you can see, did make an attempt to go for the ball and did block the vision of Rob Sanchez and did intervene with the play. And for that reason, it should be offside. It doesn't need a brain surgeon to work this one out, and the rule is clear. Shall we go to the rules? Should we go to the rules? Let's go to the rules again. Here it is. What is that highlighted bit? I'm gonna just show this one, because forget the rest, that all applies. But what does the highlighted bit say? Clearly attempting to play a ball which is close when the action impacts on an opponent. What did Ouattara do here? Someone explain to me. Is that not an attempt? Is that not clear impact? What the blue hell are VAR there for? VAR, what are you there for? If you can't look at this and go, no, you know what? Yeah, we can clearly see that an impact has been made, an attempt has been made. Not just that, and this is important to make, he's blocking Sanchez's view. That no one's talking about that. I've seen not even some Chelsea fans have mentioned that, but I want to pinpoint that because it's important, and that is another reason, because he's the goalkeeper who needs to make a save. If the offside player is blocking your view, then he is already, without even going for the ball, he is already involved. He is blocking the vision. He blocked the vision and attempted to kick the ball. He went for it. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. Let's not pretend, yeah? What was those famous words all those years ago? From who's that guy? Who's that guy again? Jose Mourinho. What was those words? 3 words, wasn't it? What was it? Forgot what's the rest? Campaign. What's the rest? What's the campaign? Against campaign against who? Against who? Who? Campaign against Chelsea. It's still living, isn't it? It's still here. Of course it is. Yeah? Like I've said, if this was Liverpool, what would happen? If yesterday was the case where Liverpool were winning 2-1 and Brentford scored that equaliser, guaranteed the media will be talking about it. And let's flip the script. If Chelsea were winning 2-1, if Brentford were winning 2-1 and Chelsea scored that sort of goal, that position, and it was offside, you best believe headlines would have already kicked off. But we're just going to pretend because it's Chelsea. We get the message, don't worry. That's fine. You can keep the draw. No problem. We'll go from here. Talking about from here, I'm going to talk about Man United because we've got Man United next, but that's going to wait. Let me show you this. So Strasbourg played and something very weird happened. So Emegha, who plays for Strasbourg, and we know has recently just got an agreement done properly for him to move to Chelsea next season. Because of that, there was quite a reception from the Strasbourg fans. Not all, but there was some. And Liam Rosenior, the manager of Strasbourg, has decided to speak on this. So let's hear what he's got to say, and let's give you guys some context. Here it is. So Liam Rosenior on Strasbourg fans' treatment of Emegha after an announcement of his move to Chelsea. He says, Emegha was devastated, and so was I. I'm very disappointed with what I saw. Seeing banners against one of the best players last season is unacceptable. My players deserve much more. They have an impeccable mindset and do not deserve this treatment. We are in a pivotal season in which we will play in the European Cup, but it seems that a minority is not happy with these performances. It won't change anything at all because I remain very proud of my players, and Emmanuel Emegha will remain captain as long as he is there. It is still necessary to emphasize that this does not concern everyone but a minority. And that is from Liam Rosenior himself. So let me give you my thoughts here, because I feel like there has to be some, I think, fair balance. What I will say, in any other circumstance, right? Let's just player A, Club B. Player A comes to Club A, and he's there. They bought him. He's part of their club. And then not too long after, as soon as he becomes an important player, he decides he wants to go to Club B. Fans kick off because they see you now as a key player, and they're like, well, why are you going? What are you doing? You're just abandoning us. We feel betrayed. I get that. But this isn't that. At face value, it might seem like that, but it's not like that. And I'll explain why. And this is where I think everyone has to be fair. When Emegha was brought in to Strasbourg, who done that and why? Emegha wasn't brought into Strasbourg to be a Strasbourg player. We knew that when Emegha was bought. In fact, we spoke about that. I've got videos on it. Others have videos on it. It was published. It was out there. We all knew that Blueco went for Emegha because they see Emegha as someone that they can bring into Chelsea. That is before he even moved to Strasbourg. He moved to Strasbourg because they want him to develop. He was never meant to stay there. Look, if this was a player, and I'll give you an example. I will sympathize with Strasbourg on some issues here without question. And I'll give you an example. When they lost their goalkeeper, right, who was their club captain, that was a Strasbourg player. That was someone that, without question, right, they were like, he's our man. And then in the blink of an eye, he got sold. Instant, just gone. All of a sudden, he's left. Now, that's not even on the player. That was based on the club. The club decided that out of nowhere to just, boom, gone. And then hence we got Petrovic going there for a season and all of that. And now Petrovic isn't there and they've had to reshuffle, and now we got Mike Penders there. And it's just, this is them losing their proper club captain in that capacity for the sake of, okay, other players need development. That I can sympathize completely. I can sympathize completely with that. But Emegha was never bought for Strasbourg. In fact, the fact that Strasbourg even have Emegha, right, and the job that he's done for them, they should count their blessings. Because like I've said, Chelsea, well, Blueco could have just gone, yeah, you know what, bring him straight to Chelsea. But no, he needed development. So Strasbourg for a little bit was always the plan. And I'm shocked that some Strasbourg fans are not aware of this, or they're choosing to not be aware of this. We all knew this. We all knew this. So this is why it was always a glorified loan. And we all know why it was a glorified loan, but with an actual transaction, it was a sale. Because there's loan spots that have to be considered. There's profit margins, there's book values, there's all of this that Blueco are managing for both Chelsea and for Strasbourg. It's better for them to buy Emegha on the cheap, let's say, and then sort out Strasbourg's books when they sell him for profit, to then bring him into Chelsea for a decent fee, to then use him for the long run. Or if it doesn't work out, then we end up selling down the line. But that was always the plan before he walked in. We all knew this, so it shouldn't be a surprise. I don't get the outrage on this one. He was never going to be a Strasbourg man. He was brought into Strasbourg. It's like, Strasbourg, can you use him for a little bit, please? Because we're going to take him when we feel he's ready. That was always the plan. So it shouldn't be a shock. The fact that he's captain, that's Liam Rosenior's decision. Now, if Strasbourg feel like, oh, Chelsea are taking our captain. No, Chelsea, he was always going to be a Chelsea player. That was always the plan. So that's that. But let's see how Emegha does. He's been doing very well at Strasbourg, to be fair. And they are looking better. And I'm looking forward to seeing Strasbourg in European competition as well. So this is going to be an interesting factor for them too. Let's wait and see how it's all going to go down. Now, before we wrap up, Man United. Now, I do want to stress with this. On Shootout, there was no watch-along for the City United game, and apologies for that. Those of you that were waiting, like I say, apologies, because we did face some crazy technical issues here today. Crazy. Where we normally watch the football decided to not work. Where we normally host our streams from decided to not work. Everything just collapsed. All the technicals, even bits that were meant to work normally today, failed to connect. That was our buzzword for today. Failed to connect. Buzz phrase, should I say. We were complete in dire... Look, 10-15 minutes after kickoff, right? Man City were on the brink of scoring the first goal, and then they did. We were still trying to fix the issues. It wasn't happening. So we are going to continue to sort all of those out on the back end. Don't worry. The next watch along, if I'm not mistaken, we will try and get a Champions League game in before Wednesday, so Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we will be back at the Belgian Beer Cafe for the Chelsea-Bayern Munich game. So make sure you're there for that one. If you are there in person, come and join us. And if you're not there in person, then make sure you're watching on Shootout. Link in the description. But Man United got battered. Now, we're not going to talk about Man United. In fact, I'm going to talk about Man United on Shootout tomorrow when we do our roundup. So make sure you're there and make sure you're subscribed, because that is the overall football channel. So I'm going to leave a lot of my in-depth detail for all other clubs for Shootout. So make sure you're there. We will go into depth for all the games, including Chelsea. And there's a very, very cool concept that we're going to be starting for tomorrow, which is going to dictate how these roundups are done. So just watch and you'll know what we mean. But let's talk about Amorim. I want to show you this. After today, we've got this stat, and it's shocking. We thought Graham Potter was bad. Oh, my God. This is the record under Ruben Amorim so far. 31 games, 8 wins, 16 defeats, 7 draws. A goal difference of minus 13, 25.8% win percentage. He is apparently the worst record at Manchester United since World War II. Talk about trenches. It's funny, isn't it? It's funny. We talk about being in the trenches. Man United are legitimately in the trenches. It's the worst record of a manager at Man United since World War II. That is the trenches. You can't get more trench than that. Fully. So, what did Amorim have to say? This is where you lot are going to lose your minds. Here it is. He says, I will do everything I can for Man United. This is my message to the fans. I'm suffering more than them. When asked, actually, you know what? I have to show you the question. Because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it a disservice. So I don't want to do it shall we say, injustice. Here it is. He was asked, when are you going to accept your system is not working here? You only won 8 Premier League games. People find it easy to play against you. He responded with, I won't change my philosophy. If they want it changed, you change the man. I think we know what's about to happen. All I ask is that it doesn't happen before next weekend. Can we just say that, please? Yeah? Can we please not have what I'm about to say happen before next weekend? After next weekend, do what you want. But I've had enough, yeah, of having manager bounces right, against us. We were meant to have a manager bounce. Well, sorry, we were not meant to have a manager bounce the last time we went to Old Trafford, or was it 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago. We went to Old Trafford, and funnily enough, there was a manager bounce. No. If you're going to sack Amorim, right, do it in 2 weeks. Don't do it now. Or wait until after next weekend, yeah? Give it a week from now. A week from now, the game might have been played, actually. We'd be done. So, yeah, you can do it this time next week. This time next week, no problem. You know, in fact, Chelsea, we've got a job to do. We've got to redeem ourselves, and we can actually put the final nail in the coffin there for this kid, for this lad. Now, Amorim, when you hear what he's actually said, right, I'm also going to show you what else he did say, because there's an important point that he made which I think will go under the radar. When he says, I'm suffering more than them, right? He also went on to say that there's things that people don't know about. His words. That tells you. It's not all Amorim. Right? Let's be honest. 100% he's got big part to blame here, because stylistically Man United are a mess. And he looks very stubborn. But Man United as a football club, you best believe if they sack Amorim and get the next guy in, it's the same. It's the same. Just like it was for Ten Hag. Just like it was before him. Just like it kept... I mean, look at the managers they went through. It's been a mess. The whole football club has gone left, right and centre. Finished. You cannot expect Amorim to walk in and just, everything's fixed. No. This is going to need open heart surgery. And we are not going to see anything from Man United for the minimum the next 2 years. Minimum. I say minimum. That's counting your blessings. Look at Chelsea. From when we had Graham Potter, which is very reminiscent to what Man United are looking like now. Yeah? It looks very similar. In fact, United are worse. But you get the gist. Only now at Chelsea, we're talking at like a point of, we're having that conversation of we should be winning the league. Like we should actually aim for silverware. Like we're in that conversation now. From Graham Potter to now. How long is that? 2-3 years. This United team's worse. Easily worse. So major open heart surgery is needed. And it's not going to get better. But when a manager starts talking like this as well, he's finished. When he's talking about they can change the man, then they're going to change the man. It's done. Because the pressure will reach a point where that's it. Something's got to give. And the one casualty that it will always be is the manager. Even in this instance where I look and I don't blame him completely. There are players that are completely misused. There are players that are just not good enough for Man United. There's the whole hierarchy and the structure of the club, which is a complete mess. Old Trafford is broken and leaking from the roofs, and the toilets are damaged and all of that. The training ground hasn't been changed since, flipping 1986. I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's an exaggeration. But remember what Ronaldo said in that interview when he said after he came back the second time, he noticed things still look the same. There's been no evolution. You best believe things are still the same. Things are still the same. And all of that plays a part. The environment of working is completely out of order. So how the hell do you want good results to come through when your foundation is ruined? You can't build something on a foundation that doesn't hold itself. It will fall down. Man United has fallen down. The one good thing about their structure right now, I think, might actually be the car park. It's no wonder Said tells everyone to go to the car park. It's the only place left standing. So, let's see how this is going to go down. But we're going to go into more detail on Manchester United and their performance against Man City on Shootout tomorrow with George. So make sure you guys are there for that. And let me know your thoughts on Amorim. But my prediction here is he's not going to last long. The writing's on the wall. You're talking like this, it's finished. It's finished. And you best believe, even between him and the players now, that's going to start crumbling. So, United, sorry, but this season's already over for you. And Man City, well, they've got something to finally smile about. So, congrats. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. I will catch all of you tomorrow on here. We'll see if we can get a double. If not, it'll be just one, but we'll see what we can get. Lead up to Bayern Munich. The preview to that will be on Tuesday, so make sure you're here for that. And then, make sure you're there for Shootout tomorrow. We'll give you a Premier League roundup. in a very interesting new format. So make sure you're there. I'll see you then. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.